This is a DAF 46, a uniquely Dutch car with a special trick up its sleeve, as I shall now demonstrate. See, this car comes with a CVT, a continuously variable transmission, which allows the car to move as fast in reverse as it can move forward, and that leads to an entirely Dutch phenomenon, reverse racing. So welcome everyone to a rather weird episode here on edsautoreviews, where I present you Dutch backwards racing. When you think of European people's cars, you think of such greatest hits like the Italian Fiat 500, the British Austin Mini and the French 2CV. But Holland? Yes, that tiny bike-loving country also had its very own national people's car, DAF. It's the early 1950s when the brotherly bosses of the DAF company, back then already a well-established truck and bus manufacturer, started to notice that the Dutch car market was growing. Cars were no longer seen as a luxury item for the happy few and were more accessible for the average man. They wanted to jump into this emerging market. Early development started in 1953, and after 6 years of development, the DAF 600 was released, the official people's car of the Netherlands. The car sold relatively well in Holland, riding on the post-war economic boom, and over 2 decades various generations and series were built, until this fine specimen we have on camera today, the DAF 46 from 1974. Looking at it, you might get the impression that this is something from East Germany or the Soviet Union, and I forgive you for thinking that this might be some type of a Trabant concept car that had wandered off, but nothing could be further from the truth, as this is in fact a Dutch-built car. And so that brings up the question, is this a perfect example of Dutch design? Not really, as this particular model was designed by renowned Italian car designer Giovanni Michelotti. Yes, the man that was responsible for such a long list of such legendary car brands like Maserati, Ferrari, Lancia and Triumph also designed DAFs. Don't let its exotic styling fool you, because if you take a good look under the hood, you'll find that you are in fact dealing with a classic European bottom-of-the-barrel economy people's car, as this is not really a car, but more like a motorcycle, as it is powered by a flat twin engine. It's a 2-cylinder. It's a 4-stroker, but it's a 2-cylinder, displacing 844 cc's. That's 0.84 liters. The power output is a rumored whopping 35 horsepower, and it gets up at about 100 kilometers or 60 miles an hour in about 5 to 10 business days. And that's with tailwind. Inside, you're treated on such luxuries like a steering wheel, a radio, a heater, and a speedometer that starts at 20 kilometers an hour, oddly enough. I really don't know what happens when you drive 10 or 15 kilometers an hour. Who knows? On my left side, I have a button that doesn't do anything at all, and it also comes with this screw. But the DAF 46 was part of DAF's line of senior cars and came in 2 trim versions. This is the deluxe version. And then I hear you think, so this is the deluxe version. No, the deluxe, so this car, was the base level version. If you wanted to have the deluxe version, you got the super luxe version that gave you such things like wood accents in the interior. The seats were replaced by actual cloth seats instead of this fake leathery stuff. And the best of all, you got a lid for your glove compartment, because nothing exudes luxury than being able to close your very own glove compartment. But the real party trick that really sets this car apart from the rest is this, the Variomatic. At the time the first DAF was being developed, one of the bosses drove around in an American Buick, equipped with the Dynaflow automatic transmission. He was so fascinated and convinced by the comfort of not shifting the car yourself, he wanted to make it accessible for everyone to enjoy this experience. A Dynaflow or any other regular automatic transmission at the time would never fit in the small car they had in mind.
Instead, the brothers developed their own system, a continuously variable transmission, or CVT for short. This system consisted of a V-shaped drive belt and two cone-shaped pulleys, allowing the transmission to have an infinitely variable power delivery and most optimal torque delivery at any speed. The concept had existed before. A rare few cars from the turn of the century had an early version of a CVT, but DAF was the first to introduce it on a regular mass-produced car, making it one of the rare Dutch contributions to the global car industry and laid the foundations of the modern CVTs as we know them today.
In marketing terms, the Variomatic was quickly dubbed the smart stick or the smart shifter. And in the way this CVT works, it did allow this car to drive as fast in reverse as it could move forward. Simply pop it back in reverse and off you go.
With the CVT as a trick up its sleeve, DAF also had international aspirations, as I was pleasantly surprised to learn on a car show in England that a few right-hand drive DAFs were exported to the UK. Also, a few dealers in the New York City area were interested. After all, the USA was the homeland of clutchless cruising. They tried to sell the DAF cars under such wonderful slogans like "Shift to DAF and you'll never shift again," and "The Dutch took the clutch out of the compact car." But, as most of you know, Americans regard these small econo boxes as clown cars, so that went nowhere.
Back home, DAF had something special, because the CVT came in clutch. It's a joke. Anyway, the Variomatic provided this small economy car with a big luxury car feature, and that was an advantage over all the other European people's cars, an automatic transmission. But back in the 60s, real men rode their own gears. Because if you wanted to drive an automatic, you were pretty much part of three types of people. A, the wealthy, B, the elderly, or C, women.
Because this wasn't a luxury car, wealthy buyers weren't interested, leaving us with the two other groups, the elderly and ladies, and especially little old ladies. DAF cars weren't bad cars at all, but over the years they started to suffer from an image problem. Savvy salesmen found a loophole in the Dutch law. By limiting the cars to a top speed of 25 kilometers an hour, you'd be able to drive them without a driver's license. Think of it like a four-wheeled scooter or those quadricycles that you can buy today. So these cars were popular for elderly women and slightly disabled people. These cars were notoriously nicknamed crawl cars. DAF tried to improve their image by doing something any self-respecting car company does: enter the racing scene. But whereas the big boys of the industry raced in such legendary series like Formula 1, NASCAR, or the 24 Hours of Le Mans, DAF resorted to the lesser-known rallies, but did manage to get quite a few successes in international rallies and long-distance endurance races, proving that there was nothing wrong with the CVT. Even a sleek, sporty fastback was added to the lineup and a performance package was created, called the Marathon, a fitting name when you realize that life is not a sprint, but a marathon. But there was one particular type of race the DAF cars were truly excellent, and that was reverse racing. In the 70s and the 80s, a Dutch TV program set up various beater races that were more about spectacle, entertainment, good fun, and absurd situations than real racing. This includes caravan racing, racing with two cars joined together by a tow line, and reverse racing. Any car was eligible to enter, so most turned up with 10 to 20-year-old beaters at the time, ranging from small economy cars to big American land yachts and anything in between, including DAFs. But the DAFs had one major advantage over the rest because of the CVT, allowing them to go as fast in reverse as they could go forward. Other races that did not drive a DAF started to modify their cars by flipping their differentials, but they still couldn't keep up with the DAFs. It was even rumored that during those years, DAFs held the world record of being able to drive the fastest in reverse of any car. And they did all of this without any backup lights whatsoever. Eventually, the TV program ordered that the DAFs could only compete in a separate DAF-only racing class. If you have some spare Sunday afternoon time to kill, just look it up. DAF reverse racing is absolutely hilarious, and it's a shame it no longer exists. Seeing these small cars running around bumping into each other looks like pure mayhem. It's such an absurd spectacle. A famous Dutch comedian was invited to do the voiceover, giving commentary pretending to be a commentator at the scene. He put on all kinds of wacky voices to make it all appear even funnier.
Kom op, even met die camera. Mooi! Kijk, daar wou ze eerst mijn commentaarcel neerzetten. Kijk even wat er gebeurt. Leg hem daar maar even neer. Ik zal maar zeggen, zeg eens een beetje. Mijn gras, daar gaat mijn gras. Ja, dat ga je krijgen.
Now, it has been rumored that if you play the footage in reverse, you can hear secret messages. Let's have a listen. Like, share, and subscribe to Autoreviews. Watching this footage in reverse probably makes it even 10 times funnier. Now it looks like you're watching a normal race where all the cars have an uncannily tight steering and every driver seems to be equally drunk. The cars magically repair themselves by doing a backflip, and the first to finish is the last to park his car.
Alright, the very first time driving in the DAF. I should preface this by saying that I already have some experience with classic cars, 9 out of 10 times oversized American land yachts, including my very own Lincoln Mark series. But those are big cars with floating suspension and big oversized V8s. This time I'm working with a twin cylinder or two cylinder, and it's a Dutch car, and I've never driven a Dutch car, so a car from my own home country before. So that's what we're going to find out right now. The starting procedure, as I'm told, is already different than in a normal car, because the Variomatic has a forward position, a neutral position, and a rear position. No park or anything like a conventional automatic. So in order to start the car, you have to already pre-select the direction you want to move. So in order to start the car, you have to put it in drive before starting. That's a big no-no in regular automatic transmissions, but I already made this mistake at the first try. You're not going to see that. So it is, I've put it right now, I put it in drive, the stick is forward, and now we're going to start it. And this is the very first time, more or less, that I drive this car. So we're going to see what happens. All right. Oh boy. Holy moly, I hope you can hear my voice over the recording, because this thing is noisy. What a noise. And also it's a CVT, so you're waiting for the moment to shift, but it doesn't. It tries to find the best like RPM, because it's continuously variable. But if this is it, let me close the window for a moment. Oh, this is bad. This is I wouldn't take this out on the highway. Oh man. But it is relatively easy to drive. I mean, it's an automatic at first, and if I let go of the gas pedal, the car already just de-accelerates so much. It's kind of like driving a modern electric car in a way that you have that one pedal drive. You just take it easy on the gas and you automatically start to brake already. And I have to say that, oh boy, there's a truck passing by. I have to say that it is relatively easy to steer. It has no power steering at all, so when you drive, the steering is fairly light. And I have to say it is relatively comfortable. I wouldn't say overly floaty as many American cars, but yeah, it's on the comfortable side. But my God, the noise! And I really don't want to test the acceleration in this car at all. But all this contributed to the decline of DAF. They were increasingly seen as small, slow, old-fashioned cars, either driven by old ladies out on the street or crashed in reverse out on the track. And were getting passed left and right by the competition. Unless it was in reverse, of course.
DAF quit the car business in the mid-70s and was taken over by Volvo. The DAF 66 was then rebadged into the Volvo 66, applying Volvo's grille design as well as several safety features, but the CVT stayed. Also, the stillborn DAF 77 went into production as the Volvo 300 series. DAF in the meantime resorted to what they were already very good at, making freight trucks, and continue to do so today.
And this concludes our little peek into the history of the DAF cars, and I want to thank Karel Wust Museum for providing me with this DAF and to make this video. In fact, this one is for sale, so check out the website if you're interested. Also, if you ever find yourself in the Netherlands and want to learn more about the DAF cars, make sure you visit the National DAF Museum. They can tell you a whole lot more about these cars than I just did in this video, so please do also check them out when you're here. The only thing for me left to say is thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.